This episode of The Young Turks is brought to you by Gamefly. Go to gamefly.com/TYT for a free trial membership.
Glenn Beck has been talking about on his show Wilmington, Ohio. Now, they've been through some tough times. If you remember, and we covered this back in the day during the election season, DHL decided to leave, and they took about 7,000 jobs with them. And that was tough. And they, of course, have been suffering terrible unemployment in the town, terribly hard times. So here's the lie that Beck invented about them. He said, yet, despite all this, they have taken no government money. They have told the state, they have told the federal government, no, we're going to do this on our own. We're Americans. Well, that sounds amazing, right? I don't know if it's smart, but wow, okay, well, let's see how that turns out, right? Of course, reporters go to see how that turns out, and it turns out it's a total and utter lie. The mayor of Wilmington is a guy named David Razik, and he says, yeah, of course we asked for money. Are you crazy? And we received it. They received $10 million from the stimulus package. And you know how much they asked for? 6 times that much. They asked for $60 million. Okay? Now, PolitiFact said, okay, well, this is amazing. They're the guys who check in on whether you're telling the truth or not. And they're usually very careful and somewhere in the middle. They categorize this as liar, liar, pants on fire. Okay? And apparently they have that category. Here are some of the facts they came up with. It turns out that Wilmington has received 2 federal emergency grants worth more than $7.9 million to help with job training and other aid to displaced workers, more than $5.2 million from the state of Ohio to help with business development, and they are asking for more every day. And again, when you go back to the mayor, he's like, of course. He's like, my people are getting killed out here. They're hurting. They're unemployed. He's like, what am I going to do? Not ask for it? Of course I'm going to ask for it. What, am I stupid? And Glenn Beck, you know what he did? He went and did an event there. He pulled his bus in, and he got people to this thing about, oh, Wilmington, you're not taking the money. Reporters are there on the scene. They asked the locals. They're like, oh, we know we're taking the money. They asked the people from out of town. They're like, oh, Wilmington, they're not taking the money. They're like, no, but they are, right? They're like, nah, you liberal media, you probably have that wrong. And then finally, there's actually a guy from Media Matters there. He finds one of Glenn Beck's producers, this guy named Eric, and talks to him. Says, you know, Eric, and he's pretending to be a concerned citizen, as far as I can tell from the story, okay? He says, Eric, you know, I found out. It turns out they are getting money. And Eric, Glenn Beck's producer, says, quote, yeah, they did get some money, but it's not like they're asking for it. Wrong again, Bob. They are asking for it. But it's interesting because that goes to show you, Beck knows, Beck and his producers know they're getting money. They went and did a whole tour there, even though they know the whole tour and speech and event is based on a complete fabrication. They're amazing. When they asked Eric again, he says, look, how about the food stamps? And let me give you the facts on the food stamps, by the way. Food stamp enrollment in Clinton County, where Wilmington is up 91%. So how about the fact that they're getting food stamps? Eric says, yeah, well, no one wants to ask for food stamps. They just, they have to. That's our point. Of course they don't want to ask for food stamps. They used to work for DHL. They're not bums. They're not lazy. They're good American workers who got laid off, and they're in tough times. That's why the government helps them. Full well knowing that. They do it, and Beck gets up there, and he's like, oh, Wilmington, the way to not take any money. They're amazing, man. They don't, every day, even though I've seen it a million times, I'm amazed every time. How can someone lie like that with no conscience? It's not for me, man. If somebody told me to do that, I don't think I can get myself to do it. It's amazing. I'm blown away by it. Because it's not just he just says a slip of the tongue or he says it and doesn't correct it on air. He did a whole fucking tour. I mean, he brought his fucking bus there. I'm amazed.
Cenk, people don't know this about me, but I'm an underground gamer. I love to play video games.
Well, then you're going to love our new sponsor, Gamefly. They're the largest online video game rental service in the world. 7,000 titles, new and classic. Also, no late fees, no due dates. Shipping's always free.
Go to gamefly.com/TYT for a free trial membership.